that if you were to be curating a bridal retreat for someone who is very close to you, as per you, what would be the 3 things that you'd say are most imperative?
I think the first thing, and I have helped and curated some weddings, so I can only say this from a personal space and from some of my experiences. The first thing is I've always spoken, because I tend to be always somehow closer to the bride in most marriages that I've been part of, where I've always asked her, what kind of wedding really do you want, irrespective of what your family or his family or everyone's combined families may believe. Do you want something, do you want the shebang, the big shadi, or do you want an intimate wedding, something that you will remember for the rest of your life? That is the first question I've always asked, and always approached any wedding with that very first ask, is what is the emotional scale, not just the physical scale, the emotional scale of your wedding, your preferred wedding. The second, and most importantly, is does this wedding mean, firstly, is there enough love in your heart to take, this decision? Because sometimes I think we tend to not ask anyone, a bride or a groom, whether they're ready, for it. In fact, my order is a bit skewed because this is the question I would ask first. Firstly, are you ready? Second is what kind of wedding you have. And third, and I believe that, is like, what are you wearing? Because that to me is very important. Because I'm somebody who believes that everyone's heart and soul is very important. But to me, aesthetics have always mattered as well. And I'm always very worried that one of them will make an incorrect choice of lehenga and shadi, because I'm like, those images are going to live for life. And I'm going to stare at those, I'm like, you've got to look like, and stunning is subjective and beauty is subjective, but at least I believe that our personal aesthetics, if we have them, we can offer them to the people we love. And there are many who have made them change their decisions even last minute, because I've said, hey, yaar, this is not going to work. So because I feel like there are many decisions that you make on what you wear, but you forget to know what the surrounding is. And when I go to many weddings, and I've been to several, I'm like, has no one spoken to each other? That फूल ऐसे होंगे, डेकोर ऐसा होगा, स्टेज होगा और आप ये पहन के यहाँ आए हैं, क्या कोई कोऑर्डिनेशन किसी ने नहीं की है? And I believe that everybody has to come together to make the groom and bride look stunning, because they are the people whose wedding it is. And I'm like, suddenly पीछे पीला, आगे लाल, कहीं और नीला, and I'm like, this is, for heaven's sake, this is not a color card. It's a wedding. I'm not saying everything should blend into each other, but at least there should be some attempt. So my third inquiry is always on the aesthetics.
And this is a message which holds true for so many of us who represent the wedding business in this room. So thank you, MJ, for asking, because this solves many problems for many people here.
It also takes me back to the time when we took that pink cloth to create the image.
Yeah.
So, Karan, thanks. That answers for sure. I also, because you spoke about asking the girl, are you ready? You have always been a champion of supporting authenticity. You celebrate and recognize individuality. What, as for you, would be how important do you think these qualities are for a girl who's about to get married, step into a public space? How would you talk to her about these aspects? Because these are the boundaries that one really has to navigate once you're stepping into another family.
I don't look at it like that at all, because I don't believe she's stepping into any space that she doesn't want to, and I hope that's the case with most women. I feel like, as I said right at the top when I believe that the expectation is that she should feel something or the other, and she should feel fear or anxiety, but I'm like, no. I think she should feel nothing. She should just feel joy and happiness. And that's what and the fact that if she's feeling anything but joy and happiness, then she should not be taking that step, and that is her decision and her prerogative. And nobody should make a bride feel like she needs anything or has to change or alter anything. If anything else, everybody else should make their changes because she knows what she wants.
questions done. Yeah. So what I also understand is that maybe there is a little repositioning of conversation that is also required, because the question should change from something is missing, because nothing is missing, which is
The
exactly
question
what-
should be that there shouldn't be a question asked. That is the simple thing. One should not ask, because you should know that there doesn't need to be an inquiry if there is already kind of a self-satisfaction that the woman has reached in her place and in her heart. And I think we tend to, as parents and even as family members or friends, we tend to say, are you okay? But why do you presume she is not okay? Why aren't people asking the groom this question? Is my biggest, because the way our societal functioning is that we're tuned to feel that the male component of the house, the man and his family are meant to be in a superior place. It's not the case anymore. And I hope that keeps changing and evolving, because I believe very strongly in the power of equality. And I believe today, if at all, the woman of today is truly in charge. And at a shadi, she better be in charge, because she knows much more. Emotionally, aesthetically, visually, and even with her heart, she's much more equipped to be at a wedding than most other people are.
So reinforcing the confidence which is there, at times maybe getting lost because continuously people are talking that something is missing. So maybe that confidence is there, but it's kind of getting lost somewhere.
Yes.
So get that out, back in there, because it's there. So that's one. And a purpose-led economy is what the country is wanting to propagate today. So, which is where, when we spoke of emotional infrastructure being the new infrastructure for most of these experiential things that I think the industry is attempting to do. And the fact that the female and the woman power is paramount, just that it needs to be brought about better for recognition and acceptance both within the house and outside of the house.
Absolutely.
So thank you for supporting. Thank you for being here with us, Karan, and we're extremely proud, extremely happy to have you on board, helping us take this initiative.
Thank you so much for having me, and this has been an absolute pleasure, something I truly believe with, and I'm so glad that both of us have been, and all of us have been on the same page about addressing this enterprise with emotion, and that means the most.
One last word from you for the bridal retreat team.
My experience with the bridal retreat team has been immensely pleasurable. It's made me realize that actually, when they say home is where the heart is, but the heart also has to be at the workplace, because you can't just feel like the heart can be left at home, because the heart has to walk with you everywhere. And very few enterprises and very few businesses and very few infrastructures allow us to actually operate with the heart, because we so get into the modalities of things. At the bridal retreat, I felt that you carried the heart with you. You function from your heart, you operate from your heart, and therefore your work will always have heart.
Thank you so much.